everyone, welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie, and today I am here with my weekly WIP and Chat. Happy Monday morning. I hope that you had a really nice weekend. I am looking forward to settling in with you and just catching up and crafting for the next hour or so. So feel free to pull out a project to work alongside me if you like. I'm going to be working on one of my diamond painting projects. I do have two different projects going at the moment. The specific one I'm going to be doing today is called The Soul of the Rose by John William Waterhouse. This is from Distracted by Diamonds. I was fortunate enough to pick it up in a D stash to work on for summer with the masters this year and keep in my tradition of working on a John William Waterhouse piece each year for this event. My WIP and Chats tend to be pretty unfiltered, pretty chill, minimal, editing and all that. So that means that you are going to hear some background chatter, usually from pets like my dog, who has just let me know he wants to go outside. And from my neighbor's dog, who I wouldn't say affectionately refer to as a werewolf. There he goes. And then, sometimes from my husband and my cat, but they tend to be a little bit more laid back. So that said, I am looking forward to, like I said, spending some time catching up with you today and seeing if I can make a little progress on this project as far as where I am in the artwork. So you can kind of see this is her hand that's coming up and resting on the wall. So I'm opening up a section just right here. I split this into like 7 rows in total, and I've done these first 3 rows down to like here, and then I hopped up and I did this top row. I'll explain why in a bit, but now I'm coming back down and I'm going to do this row, and then end on this row that has her face and the rose that gives this piece its name. So I'm also going to be working with a whole lot of newer accessories that you may have seen in small shop hauls, including the Crafter's Paradise Retreat sponsored kind of spotlight style small shop haul that I did. That's where most of this is from. But I didn't get a pen from the retreat, but this pen is from my more recent small shop haul, just regular small shop haul. And this pen is from Lucky's Resin Works. I'm actually not a huge fan of the all-in-one placers, so I'm going to swap this out for a regular single placer. And I have a metal multi-placer I'll pop in the end too. This is one of the trays that we got in our swag bags for Crafter's Paradise. This is made by Creations Morin. This is the theme for the retreat, was tropic like it's hot. Yeah, Creations Morin made these for us. This cover minder is from Shire Shenanigans, and there's actually 2. These are obviously Taylor Swift album titles, and there's like another set of books that I also purchased, but this is the one that I grabbed for today. And then I have this Wee Wax Pina Colada that I'm going to use in my single placer. And then this is a brand new to me shop. I'm so looking forward to trying out this putty. This is a putty that's from Tiny Diny Creations. And this one is Tropic Like It's Hot. It's like a beachy scent. So that said, let me get my pen situated first, then we'll open up this section and everything. I just have this big bag of various placers. You can get like 20, 50 something plastic single placers on like AliExpress or whatever. It was like $1. They're so cheap. So I bought those like years back, and just every once in a while I'll get a pen that doesn't come with a plastic single placer already in it. And so I can just swap it in. Hold on, let me just kind of pressing it in a little bit more. Did that work? Yes. Okay. And then I'm a fan of metal multi-placers. So let me grab this, see if I'm going to need to... Oh, actually, that'll work. Okay, I'm going to clean out the old putty because we're going to give a nice fresh start like I usually like to do. I especially love testing out new putties in these WIP and Chats with you so that it's very... if it's the first time I'm using it, you're seeing maybe if there's anything I run into or my first impressions, maybe that's helpful for you if you run into something similar. But let's take a look. I always love trying out a new shop too. It's so fun. It's like, ooh, how's it going to work for my climate, for how I diamond paint? So I think what I'm going to do for this one is I'm just going to have to, I think I'm going to have to do it in a couple spots. Just make it easier. Let's do that first bit there because I use a 12 placer, and some putties just don't, like, they're not that wide or whatever, so I'll just do this. I think I'm gonna need just a little bit more. It doesn't feel too sticky, which is good. It's summer weather right now, just in case you're watching this in the future, like further future. It's the beginning of June and we are just getting into some warmer days here. And so climate can really, really affect your putty and your wax and how like sticky it is and how it performs. So, sorry, I'm just feeling a little bit less patient with the shenanigans today. So I'll try not to fuss too much, but, not with the putty, with neighbor's dog. So, okay, the putty looks like it's good to go. Let's go with this wee wax. I just do a scrape. I always feel bad to ruin the top of the wax, but it's fine. And I like to leave the wee wax just open. I just let it sit open because it just smells so good. Let's go ahead and open this up and we can actually get started on diamond painting this. So while I'm doing that, hi, by the way, how are you doing? I hope that you had a really nice weekend. Happy Father's Day. I think it's just in the US that has Father's Day. There might be other countries that do. Basically, if you're celebrating Father's Day, I hope that you had a wonderful one and a very special day. And if for whatever reason Father's Day is a difficult time for you, my heart is very much with you. And you're in my thoughts. So I'm just gonna let this hang out back here so that we actually get to see it and enjoy it, because this plastic cover just folds right back. I don't feel like I actually need the cover minder to hold that back. I can just let it be cute decoration more than anything. Okay, I'm not really gonna need this stopper, I don't think, so I'm gonna set that to the side. Same with the sliding lid. Let's just go ahead and grab a color and get started. I do like to, generally speaking, start with a 310 to get it over with, because this color has been a bit of the bane of my existence in this kit, and is the reason that after completing the first 3 rows, I was like, let me go and do that top row and just get it over with, because I saw that there was a ton of 310 in that row, and I was like, let me go and get this over with. So this 310, I'm trying to think if this is a good pour that'll show it. Not exactly, but you can kind of see, like when you look at some of these, like if you see these two drills next to each other, they're visibly different in size. There's several drills, like from further back it's harder to see, but some of them, this literally has this whole bit of extra sticking off the side. There's some less egregious ones, like this one just has a bunch of pooled junk all around the outside. It's not a clean cut. These 310s are just a huge pain to work with. I feel so bad to say it, but I have to be honest. I'm pretty confident that these drills are acrylic, and normally acrylic rounds don't necessarily bother me. But if they're good quality, they don't bother me too much. This is a little sticky. It's fresh. It's brand new, so I might have to like pat it on my jeans or something to make sure it's not so sticky the drills don't want to come off, because this glue on the canvas is not crazy sticky either. Now look, I actually really enjoy Distracted by Diamonds canvases and the company and their mission and everything, but sometimes their quality is not 100% consistent with like the drills and stuff. So especially like these acrylic rounds sometimes can be a little bit of a toss-up. So if you didn't know, diamonds are typically made up of either acrylic or resin materials. Companies like Diamond Art Club and most companies, I feel like a lot of companies use resin rounds. But I don't usually necessarily mind working with acrylic rounds unless I'm running into issues like this. Resin squares, I feel like that's a must. I do not want to work with acrylic squares at all, because those tend to be just horrible to work with. And it's a lot less forgiving when it comes to the inconsistent sizing. So anyway, I won't get on like a whole soapbox about that, even though I could. But anyway, it's also helped to have another kit going. Last week I kitted up Rainbows and Starlight with you guys. That really pretty kit from Diamond Art Club that has just a rainbow of colors, and that I'm doing for Pride Month, and it has been really helpful to have that to be able to alternate between this kit and that one, because I get a little bit of variety when it comes to the colors and the materials and stuff. It's refreshing to be able to go back and forth between them for sure. So I have 2 rows of 5 done on that one, and yeah, I'll go back to that one after I do this row on this kit, I think. So otherwise though, I've been like pretty happy with how this kit is coming together rendering wise, and it's just fun to have Summer with the Masters going again this year. It feels very, very chill. It feels very low key. I'm enjoying seeing people post their progress in the Diamonds and Emeralds Facebook group, as well as the Crafters Den Discord, which I'll have linked below, both of those linked below. If you're on Facebook or Discord and want a diamond painting community to be a part of, you're more than welcome to join either or both of those. It's so fun because I feel like this style of artwork, you do see it sometimes, like outside of the summer and stuff, of course, but it just feels like we get this fun like wave of it during the summer, and I don't know, I'm in the mood. It feels, summer just I equate with this kind of classic artwork for me anymore. And then Rainbows and Starlit, of course, has been fun to work on with all the colors. And I don't know what I'll work on next. Since I have these 2 WIPs going, I don't feel like a ton of pressure to figure out what I want to work on next. I'm also like classic procrastinator. I will wait until the very last minute. I'll be sitting here with this kitted down, twiddling my thumbs, going like, I guess I want to diamond paint right now, but what should I work on? And then go to my Gems Flow app and scroll and try to pick something out. The one thing I do know is that I'm pretty confident that I think I want my next project to be a square drill kit, because I feel like I've been working on a lot more in the way of round drill kits between this kit, which has round drills, Rainbows and Starlight has round drills, and then the kit that I did before these 2 was Underworldly Romance, which was the Hades and Persephone fan art. And that one also had round drills. So I think I'm craving square drills. And I'm one of those people that, I know I've chatted about this before. So if you've heard me say it before, I'm sorry for repeating myself. I do that a lot. But I need both drill shapes in my life. And I find that after I've spent some time working with one particular drill shape, I definitely tend to crave having the other one in my life too. So especially doing like 3 round drill kits back to back, yeah, I feel like next up I need some squares. The nice thing though about working on both drill shapes is I tend to very rarely pay attention to what the drill shape is on a kit when it's like a new release, if Diamond Art Club or Munimate or JJM Shop or Nameless Post, anyone, if they preview a new release or something, I just don't even tend to look if it has round or square drills. I'm just like, do I like the artwork? Yes? Okay, great. I'll look at the size though, especially if it's like not necessarily artwork I'm 1,000% head over heels in love with. Sometimes I'll check the size to be like, well, do I 60 by 80 love this kit? Or do I only like 50 by 70 love this kit? And occasionally, I suppose I might look at the drill shape to be like, well, it's 60 by 80, but it's round drills, so it'll go faster, which was kind of what I thought with this one, because this kit is big. It's like 60 something by 90 something. I don't tend to work on kits that big as much anymore, but because it has round drills, that made it feel a lot more accessible. Joke's on me though, because these acrylic round 310 are going to do me in. But yeah, I don't know. I always wonder a little bit when I see people leave comments on like previews and be like, I love this artwork, but it's squares, or oh man, I would have gotten this, but it's rounds. I don't know. I guess if it was artwork that I really, really, really loved, I couldn't see myself letting the drill shape stop me. No, not from working on artwork that I really love, but everyone's got to decide where the value is for them, of course. But if no matter what drill shape Dark Lilith released in, I was getting that kit. They could have been like, look, we're prototyping this new drill shape that's triangles. I'd have been like, sign me up. I'm working on Dark Lilith. whatever that looks like. No, it's, I don't know. You guys will have to let me know if you're similar. And also, are you like me in that you feel like you need to alternate kind of between both? I do feel like my stash has a lot more square drills in it than round drills. But that's just coincidence. I think maybe it's also just the artwork that I often am drawn to that tends to be maybe more detailed or need to be larger size than square drills or something. It's not like I'm deliberately setting out to like favor square drill kits. It just happens to be what it is. Okay. I think, yeah, minimal 310 in this section. Mostly like minimal 310 in most of the sections going forward. That top row was the one that had a lot, but we're good. we made it through that. I also wanted to ask you guys a question, by the way, for a video that I'm going to have coming out either this week or next week, hopefully at the latest. I was curious to hear, do you have any specific questions or things you would like to hear me go over about the process of getting a Diamond Art Club custom kit from their treasure quests, like redemption options? Because I did get mine in, and I am hoping to get the rest of that video filmed this week and being able to share it with you all, but I wanted to be able to just kind of walk through what that process is like and answer any like FAQs about what the process is like for getting that from the perspective of just like a regular customer. So if you have any specific questions you'd like me to make sure that I answer in that video, feel free to leave them in the comments or send me an email, and I'll do my best. Hopefully I will be able to help. But speaking of videos, I did have my Dark Lilith comparison video go up this past week. If you didn't get the chance to watch that and you are interested to see it, be sure to go and give that a watch. It's been really interesting to read all of your responses to that and your thoughts. It seems like most of you are having a pretty similar reaction to me, which is where I like things about both of them and kind of wish that there were a little bit of a middle ground between the two. Some of you said outright, like, oh, I wish there were a middle ground. And a lot of the comments were like, I like Diamond Art Club's rendering overall, but I like the skin tones or the face or something of the DIY Moonshop version. And interestingly, there were a few people that commented about how, it's that was 3 years ago. Like, I bet it's just not the same to compare it that way. Like, I think that DAC would have been, like if DAC had done this kit, in 2021, it would have looked more like DIY Moonshop's version. And I respectfully disagree. Very respectfully, I disagree. Do I think the Diamond Art Club has changed and improved since 2021? For sure. But may I present the Spirit of Flight comparison video that I did in 2021, where I compared a Diamond Art Club version of the artwork, the kit Spirit of Flight by Josephine Wall, to Spirit of Flight by Josephine Wall from Diamond Painting Deutschland. And very, very, very similar kind of comparison situation where Diamond Painting Deutschland does mostly just computer charted. It was pure confetti. Diamond Art Club's was pretty clean and crisp and super highly detailed, up close and far away. And so, yeah, I just have to say respectfully, I would disagree. I do, I still think that it probably would have looked a bit different in some ways, for sure. I don't think that it would have looked like DIY Moonshop's version, though. I absolutely don't think that it would have been that far. But that's just my opinion. You could totally disagree. And the only reason that I'm even like pushing back and disagreeing like that is specifically because I did that Spirit of Flight comparison. It's like, that's such a similar situation. And that was artwork that Diamond Art Club, I think, rendered and released, I believe, in 2021, possibly the end of 2020, but like close enough to the same that I was like, well, no, they were still doing this kind of rendering style back then. But I guess we'll never know. It was just, I don't know. I was nervous that I was going to get some flack or something like that for what I had thought of the DIY Moonshop version back then. And like that would have been fair. I gave myself plenty of flack, but I don't know. I was a little bit nervous about it for some reason. People are going to think that I wasn't being honest, and that's like a continual fear of mine for, whatever reason. But no, it just, I enjoyed doing that video, and comparisons are fun. So yes, that video is out and hopefully fun to watch, even though the one shop is not available to shop from at this point any longer. I don't know if, I know that there was at one point some Margaret Morales artwork available from like Heaven and Earth Designs. I wonder what we'd like to do a cross stitch conversion of one of those pieces and kind of compare it to. That'd be interesting. I'm pretty sure Heaven and Earth Designs does mostly computer charting too. There's some other cross stitch shops I would like to take a look at to potentially do another like cross stitch conversion project from at some point. But I swear it still feels like I'm recovering from that giant cross stitch conversion project I did last year. That no, I have not done a post review on that kit yet, and at this point, it is actually like a legitimate mental block I feel like I'm having over it, and I don't know, like it's like left my brain as far as something that I'm even consciously thinking about doing, and I need to like find a way to bring it back because originally I had this goal that I would do that post review before summer, because I was like, once summer hits, every single year, here's how it goes. We do summer with the masters, and that's 2 months, and then I have a month in between summer with the masters and 2 months of drills and chills, and and then it's going into the holidays and the end of the year. And so I thought, well, let me get this post review done before all of that second half of the year stuff starts. And I didn't, and here we are. So I haven't been able to bring myself to. So it'll happen. It's at some point. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that is just an example of how long it's been, because I completed that kit back in I think September of last year. Huge project and undertaking, but I have a lot of feelings about it, and there's a lot to unpack about it. So that's that. Anyway, what else was I going to say? Oh, the other thing that went up this week videos wise is that I announced I forgot to bring it over to share here, but I announced that I have this collab that I'm doing with Pure Bliss Wax Company, and I've been sharing their monthly boxes for a few months now, which has been really fun. And they had also asked if I'd be interested in doing a signature scent with them, which Shay talked about hers in a recent WIP and Chat, Crafting with Shay. I'm sure you already follow her. She's wonderful. And I need to order one of her scents to try, actually. The Nutella one looks really, really good. But I have one that came out and released just a couple of days ago. And I was just so tickled to see that the cover minders sold out really fast. And if you missed out and you were bummed, it's this really cute dragon cover minder where it's like sitting on a stack of books. She is making more. She didn't expect them to sell out that fast, but she is quickly trying to make more, and I think is maybe going to try to restock those this week. So keep an eye out if you were wanting to try to grab the bundle. Hopefully it will be back in stock soon. And she was messaging me earlier. I have a second signature scent in mind. And I'll tell you guys, what I'm thinking of doing is I am a huge fan of the volcano scent by like Capri Blue that you can get at like Anthropology, and you can get it at some other stores too. That scent was like super, super popular on, like Pinterest and whatever, 10 years ago, but it's still one of my favorite scents. It's so clean. It's like citrus and like a little bit of spice. I think it's like orange and cloves or something. I love it. I'm obsessed with that scent. And so I was going to see if she had like a dupe or could like combine some different like scent oils, which she's done with some other scents before, to get close to that. So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to try to do. And then I also want to look ahead to some fall scents too, because I love all things fall and all things like fall scents and stuff. So stay tuned for that, but it'll probably be a little bit before we get that all squared away. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this scent. Dragon Blossom is the name that we gave it. I hope you guys enjoyed if you did pick it up, and that if you picked up the cover minder, that you like it too. So thanks for the support with that. I don't know. I never really thought I'd branch into sort of the like branding, like having like diamonds and washi kind of specific things like that. But this was really fun, and it felt really personal in a lot of ways. Like I got to just sort of really make it what I wanted to. And I have some other like kind of ideas and stuff percolating for other things, but I don't know. I didn't want to go too crazy, but I thought this was just a really neat and fun thing to do. So yes, that was in this most recent small shop haul if you'd like to go find out more about that. As far as just other things, and I've just been chatting about like diamond painting, projects and videos and stuff. Overall, so like compared to last week's WIP and Chat, I feel a little bit lower energy. I feel just kind of like blah emotionally, which honestly kind of sucks. I don't like it. I was really enjoying just sort of being this very, I don't know. I felt very bubbly last week, I suppose. This week, it's just a combination of different things. I'm fine. It's really fine. It's just life has highs and lows, and that's okay. Like, that's just part of it. There's some different things like, well, this was the kids' last week of school. And there's some, like, lots of feelings tied into that for me. Tons and tons of positive ones. It's very bittersweet, really. But it was the kids' last week of school this past week. I have been struggling to get my sleep back on a normal kind of schedule ever since getting back from the retreat, quite honestly. I am having a hard time like falling asleep at a good time of night. And I know all the things that I like should be doing, but I'm just in like a really vicious cycle now. And don't underestimate the effect that like poor sleep can have on your body and like your stress levels and your emotions and stuff. So that's I'm sure is playing a part too. I know hormones can probably be part of it too. And then like just some other kind of life stuff. I don't know how much like I really want to go into necessarily. Stuff with like some like friendship stuff. There was a full moon. That's probably part of it. So just a variety of different things where I just am feeling kind of, I don't know this week. But it's, it is what it is. It'll pass like that's this kind of thing always does. But just if you're hearing it in my voice, yeah, that's just how this week is. Overall, I have been really glad to have some relief from my migraines for the most part. I feel like I've been having a lot less. That was kind of the hope with the surgery that I had done a few months back. And I feel like, they had said it's probably going to take a few months, up to even, a year possibly, to really see the effects of that procedure. And I feel like I am starting to feel some of that a little bit. I feel like usually I'm feeling like I'm more energized. I do feel like my headaches have been and migraines have been a little bit better. I have virtually cut out all pop, soda, whatever you would like to call it based on where you live. I have basically switched entirely over to drinking tea and have been really deliberate about cutting out artificial sweeteners because those have turned into much more of a migraine trigger for me than they used to be. And I know every once in a while I would come on here and be like, oh, I cut out this thing and I seem to be noticing this different with my migraines. And then it was like, okay, no, that doesn't seem to be mattering and I'm having more migraines again. But it's been a few months since I've really cut out all soda. For a while, I thought it was just the diet soda that was a problem, but then I cut out like even just regular pop and switched over to just like green tea. So I'm still getting a little bit of caffeine, but also like I think it tends to be tea that has a lot less sugar in it and doesn't have artificial sweeteners. And, it's been a few months now that I feel like I have noticed a difference that I feel like I can call that something that has been effective. I did have a moment the other day where I just was really craving something, like just really junky food from Taco Bell. I know how bad it is, but I was like, you know what? The loaded nachos just sound so good. And surely that red meat is the ground beef is far enough off from real meat that like maybe it won't trigger my migraines, because red meat is a migraine trigger for me. And so I got it and I ate it, and promptly like that evening my body was like, here's that migraine you ordered. And I was like, well, okay, well, I don't know what I expected. I really wanted that thing, and then I paid for it later. So yeah, I don't know. If you deal with things like chronic migraines or other, chronic issues, it's hard sometimes to know like, okay, there's this trigger and then there's this flare up, and it's annoying. But I am also super thankful that I still have an emergency like rescue med that reliably works really, really well for me. And is really just a lifesaver to have that in my back pocket. Nurtec is the one that just works like 95% of the time for me. I tried some other meds, and it's just like, even the one that I had found at one point and was using for several months, it was like it worked maybe 50% of the time, and anything else I tried was just like nothing. But thank goodness for Nurtec and the difference that it has made. So there was that. What else? So with this week being the last week of school, there was a lot of like end of school award ceremonies and class parties and stuff. And we got to go to a couple of those kinds of things. We got to go to Micah's end of the year class party, which was honestly so sweet and so fun. His teacher, who's been on maternity leave for a couple months, actually came back to come to that class party. She brought her baby with her, tiny, squishy little newborn, and it was just so sweet. And it was so nice to see her. I know that so a lot of times special ed classes will be combo classes. And so I think for her, she wanted to make sure she made it to this end of year party because some of these kids she'd had for more than a year, and she wanted to be able to get to see them before they, went off to another school or another grade. And so it was really neat to get to chat with her a little bit, and she's planning on, coming back in the fall and stuff, which will be great because Micah does really like her. We've been really lucky that he's also clicked really well with the long-term sub. The long-term sub has been great with him, and so have the aides in his class. I know I talked at length about the whole saga and misadventure of him being at a different program in a different school for 2.5 months in the spring. And even just getting to go to this party in the class in person and just feeling the warmth and the support for the kids in there, and just the way that the staff, I don't know, you can tell that their hearts and souls are in this program with these kids. And at one point, they were getting teary and emotional just about, when they were doing this ceremony for the kids and talking about, the ones that were moving on to the next class and another school or whatnot. And it made me teary because I could just feel how deeply they really care about what they do and about the kids in there. They're so compassionate and so empathetic, and they did these really, really cute. They gave each kid an award, and they would have it be themed to an animal. So it would be like, okay, so-and-so is getting, they get the kangaroo award because they're always ready to bounce up and help someone else out, or it was bounce up and do something. And it was this one's going to have the, this award because they do this. And it would be another animal. Micah got the snake award because he is always ready to stretch himself into learning new things and something else. It was so cute. They had a little red carpet set up that the kids got to walk, and had these cute little candy lays, and had a little pizza party and stuff. Micah was just so delighted to see us there, and I could just tell he's so comfortable and at ease and feels very safe there. And I don't take that for granted whatsoever, at all. And the principal at that school is really highly involved too, and I just think that she's incredible. She's been there for a long time. Is one of the reasons that the school is truly one of the best in the district. And I got the chance to chat with her just a little bit, and she's been incredibly supportive of our family with this whole process. And again, she's super involved. And I also got to chat with the school psychologist and had the chance to finally really just sort of, as we're here at the end of the school year and kind of reflecting on, the past couple of months, what it looked like to try to get Micah moved back really quickly, and how important her involvement was in that, which I just have so much appreciation for her, specifically because when we had decided we wanted to move him back to this school, to his home school, and we'd made that decision, and I'm sending these emails and trying to follow up with what I refer to as the misadventure school in nice words. I'd been sending these emails and follow-ups to that school over there to be like, okay, what needs to happen for us to get the ball rolling to get him transferred back to his home school, blah, blah, blah. I just kind of kept getting a little bit of the runaround. They were just not feeling any urgency, it felt like. But then I sent this one email to the school psychologist at our homeschool and just said, hey, I'm not sure how to really kind of move things along here. I'm really anxious and about getting Micah moved back ASAP. I thought we were going to have him back by the end of this week, and now it's just not feeling that way. But within 10 minutes, I had an email back from the school psychologist or homeschool basically saying, I got this. You'll hear from me very shortly. Like, I'm going to see what I can do. And then 2 days later, we had him. He was starting back at his homeschool. So I had the chance to just talk to her, and I started crying in front of her, honestly, because I was just feeling like the emotions of the room and just kind of seeing Micah in there and the relief that I was feeling at just him being back there, and sort of the feelings I was still processing over, once again, just different things coming up that we're discovering that were huge problems or regressions at the misadventure school. It's like I've said before, it just feels like every week we find out something else, and it was another one of those kind of moments. And so I just had the chance to tell this school psychologist at our homeschool, just like, thank you so much for just being on the same page as us, and for so clearly like prioritizing getting Micah into this space where he feels safe and like back in the school and with this team. And she was super, super sweet and supportive, in that moment. She's like, of course. She's like, we're going to do whatever we need to. Like, we're going to find ways to see how we can, challenge him in good ways academically next year, and just keep working on some of these different things. And she's like, we've got this, we've got you. So it was just a really nice moment to get to be able to just sort of talk to her and kind of feel like this sort of debriefing at the end of the school year, as it were. And so really sweet end of the school year party there. And then Connor was having a really hard time this last week of school. He's so incredibly sweet and sensitive. He reminds me a lot of how I was as a kid. But really, most of that last week of school, he was just talking about how he was sad. He was sad to leave his teacher and his friends. And this is the first time that he hasn't been like, I'm so excited for summer break. He was excited for summer break, but he was mostly just feeling kind of sad. And so that speaks to how wonderful a teacher he had this year. And I sent her an email on that last day of school, just sort of making sure that she knew as much and letting her know, like, you've been the best teacher that Connor's ever had. And I need you to know that, like, you make a very real difference in these kids' lives and the way that you care for your students, and how you took care of Connor this year, with him still adjusting to being in a gen ed class and stuff. I just was like, so grateful for her and the difference that she made for him this year. So that last day of school, I picked Connor up, and he just started crying. I felt so bad, because he was having that hard of a time. And I said, we'll see about, we can get together with some of your friends over summer break. And I reminded him, next year, this teacher, like, you're still going to see her around. Remember, you still see your second grade teacher around a little bit, right? And he's like, yeah. But just bless his sweet and very, very tender heart. He's doing better now. He's not as emotional about it, but it's hard, especially when it's been like a really, really good year. So I just am hoping and praying that his teacher next year is every bit as good of a fit for him as this year's teacher was. So we don't find out until like the day before school starts. So I don't know about if you have kids like in your school district, if that's the thing, but they do it on purpose. That I swear it's because they don't want teacher or parents to have time to try to contact the school and get them to try to switch to a different teacher or something, because they don't take teacher requests. because I can't even imagine the mess that would be to balance. But yeah, so we're gonna hope and pray for the best. We did celebrate the last day of school I took Connor to see How to Train Your Dragon, and we decided to go and see it in 4DX, which is like not only wearing 3D glasses, but it's like a whole interactive experience. If you're familiar with, Disneyland, I described it to Adam as a combination of Indiana Jones, the Indiana Jones ride, and Soarin', because you sit in this chair. The chairs are set in like sets of 4, and these 4 chairs are on their own like platform that like lifts and moves. And I honestly feel like you should be wearing a seatbelt or some kind of lap belt when you're in these seats. The popcorn in our lap about went flying. I'm not exaggerating. It was quite the bumpy ride. There's also things like it will blow scents depending on what's happening in the movie, which is very reminiscent of Soarin'. And there's like water effects. It will spray you with water, it'll spray you with air. So there's even like there's things in the seats that can like bump you. Like at one point Connor's like, something hit me in the back, and I said, oh no, that was part of the interactivity of the movie. He was like, oh, I thought someone hit me in the back. No, this is 4DX. I have to be honest with you, I don't think we would go see a movie in 4DX again, probably, because it was very overstimulating is a really good word for it. It was a lot. At one point, Connor, he said he was just feeling like really overwhelmed and kind of like nauseous. And I was like, we can leave. Absolutely. Or if you want to like stand, like get up and stand maybe over here next to the chairs, you could do that. And he's like, no, I think I'm okay. But How to Train Your Dragon, the live action version is nearly shot for shot the same as the animated version, and line for line even. And so if you've seen the animated version, like there's a lot of like he's riding on the dragon and lots of like diving and weaving through the clouds and the drops and stuff. So it was very active because the chairs and stuff were moving to match that. So it was, I think, a lot. Literally, my tailbone felt like it was bruised at the end of it because it just jerks you around that much. Again, it reminded me very much of like the Indiana Jones ride at Disney, which I feel like is just notorious for really being rough and throwing you around. But it was, it was still really fun. We're really glad we went and saw it. Connor liked the movie, and he's like, oh, can I watch the animated version when we get home? Sure. I mean, it's the same, but yeah. But the movie was cute. It was really cute. And I think it helped Connor probably to have this fun thing to look forward to on that last day of school. Fun way to kind of celebrate the start of summer. And we also went swimming this weekend. Yesterday, I say we, but it was Adam and his sister. His sister brought her kids over, and I stayed back in the house with the puppy, and they took the kids swimming. We're looking at getting Micah into swim lessons this summer. It made such a difference to have Connor in swim lessons last summer, and I'd like to get Micah that much more water safe. And so I'm looking into that for this summer for sure. I think that'll make a big difference, especially because I anticipate that we'll be spending plenty of time in the pool this summer for sure. Though Micah has summer school, Connor does not. Summer school will be starting up soon, so I'll kind of want to schedule it around his summer school schedule a little bit. I'll have to see kind of what makes the most sense. But that is on the plan for the summer. Lots of pool time. And so yeah, swimming yesterday. And then today was Father's Day, and we went down and met up with Adam's parents for lunch. Our Father's Day tradition for years now, I think it's been like 10 years, has been to go to BJ's, which is like a bar and grill restaurant. They always have some like Father's Day special things that they do, and we've been going there with Adam's parents on Father's Day for I think it's been 10 years now, because I think the first time we went was when Connor was just a tiny baby. So that was fun to get to do it again this year, and we took the kids, and Micah had gotten a coupon at a recent awards ceremony at school for like a free kids meal from BJ's. So that was perfect. We took that along with us, and he is really into pasta and meatballs right now, and so he was excited to see that that was a menu option. We got some pizookies, which are pizza cookies. It's they make these cookies in these little pans. They put it in the oven, and they have these different toppings that they'll do, and they go through like different seasonal specialty ones, and they just added a Snickers one, which I feel like this is going to be a very unpopular opinion, but I actually don't really like Snickers. It's like too many different flavors. I like chocolate and caramel. I like chocolate and like peanut butter. I don't really like chocolate, caramel, and peanuts. Like it's just too many things for me. But that's like Adam and his dad's favorite. So like, it was like, it's Father's Day. We're going to get what they want. But we got another pizookie too. They had like a salted caramel that was really good too. So that was our Father's Day. And then I came back home and I called my dad. My parents live in Ohio, so we weren't seeing him in person. I'm hoping we're going to get to see them both this summer. Still kind of TBD if they're going to be able to come out for a visit and when. But usually my mom and dad both come out in the summer. So hoping that we'll get to see them soon. But settled for just a nice phone call chat today. He said that he was grilling out and made ribs, and my mom made him like cutout cookies, because when she was here she had a realization. She was like, because we were talking about cookies, like favorite Christmas cookies and stuff, yes, in May, and she said something like, how dad's favorite cookies were cutouts. She's like, you know what, there's no reason I can only make them in December, like for Christmas. She's like, I should make him some for Father's Day. I was like, that's such a good idea. You should totally do that. And so she was, making cutouts when, like icing the cutout cookies when I called. But so it was nice to chat with them. And of course, celebrated Adam. I had found like a Batman dad themed shirt on Amazon that I picked up for him and gave to him today. So I think it was a nice, just very chill Father's Day. Father's Day always comes right after the end of the school year and stuff. And so, it just is kind of one of those things where it's like, it's kicking off summer. What else? Oh, let me give you guys a pupdate on Scout. So he had been doing a lot better as far as potty training stuff goes, like housebreaking, but then he picked up some kind of little stomach bug. I won't go into details because I don't want to gross anyone out, but I don't know, it's been going on for a couple of days now. And I know that sometimes with pets, they just kind of get into something, especially because he does spend a lot of time outside in our back patio area. And I'm like, he just might have eaten some dirt or something that just kind of disagreed with him. But I did pick up, we're doing kind of like the boiled chicken and rice thing to kind of see if that blandness will help his stomach kind of feel a little bit better. So I picked some of that up today to give to him and see if that'll just kind of help settle things. But otherwise, he's been getting big. He did get his last round of shots. It was, I think, 2 weeks ago. And so happy to have that taken care of, so that he's, about good to be out and, start learning some leash manners and stuff like that. Go on walks and stuff. We did go on a nice little walk to the park with the kids. So glad to be at that point of puppyhood. And we'll keep working on the housebreaking. I feel like overall he is having fewer accidents for the most part, but he's still little. He's about 4.5 months old at this point probably. So he's definitely looking a lot bigger. I feel like he's losing a little bit of some of that puppy face, which is like, real bittersweet. But I'm so interested to see how big he ends up being. We really have no idea. My guess is somewhere between like 35 and 45 pounds. But we'll just kind of see. All the little weight calculators and stuff that are out there they just give you such wide ranges. And I've heard mixed things about how accurate they can be, especially because we don't know exactly when Scout was like, we have a guess for when he was likely born, but we don't know exactly. We don't know what breed like his dad was or anything. So we'll see. But he's continued to be a lot of fun, and the kids are both being really helpful with him. So that's been it's been good. It's like we're teaching hopefully some good responsibility and stuff like that. So that is the pup date. We are going to be dog sitting. Some friends of ours are going to be out of town, and so we've done some puppy play dates between Scout and it's my friend David and Rachel's dog Watson. I love his name is Watson. And I took him over again on Friday just to be like, okay, let's get them together one more time before they bring him over. So I'm going to bring him over tomorrow morning, and we're just going to have him for almost a week. And I'm hoping Scout's just going to be really happy to have a buddy around, and the kids will be excited to have another dog around to play with. But it might be a little bit of a zoo in our house, to be honest, because this is like the week that Micah has off before he goes to summer school. So we'll see. I'm hoping it's not gonna. We'll see how noisy Watson gets if he'll be chatting while I'm trying to do videos. It'll be an adventure. We'll be fine. As far as what I have been reading and watching and listening to, I have continued to really enjoy reading The Well of Ascension, which is the second book in the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. This is my first foray into reading Sanderson's books, and I am so curious to see if, after I get out of the Mistborn, original kind of Mistborn trilogy here, if I, want to keep going further. But I'm enjoying it so far. I read the first one and I chatted about that a little bit with you guys, and then started the second one last week. And I think I'd started just like the same day that I filmed my WIP and Chat, maybe. It definitely is a different kind of pace. It's a lot more about like kind of the politics and the character and world building and stuff. But I had been forewarned of that by avid Sanderson fans, and I hear that it's all very, very worth it for the third book. So I'm over halfway. I think I'm pretty well over halfway at this point. At the current speed that I'm listening, it says I have like 4 hours left. And so I'm guessing that once I get to around like the mark of 1.5 to 2 hours left is when it'll get to what apparently has a name in like the Sanderson fandom called like the Sanderlanche, which is where it just apparently get to a certain point in the book and it just goes and is really intense, and like there's tons happening. You can't put it down like all the way to the end. And that definitely happened in the first book. And I'm curious to see when I'm going to hit that point in this book. Like, when am I safe to keep listening to, and when should I pause? Because I'll probably want to listen a little bit before I go to bed tonight, but I certainly am not going to stay up for 4 hours to listen, even though I don't have anything technically to get up for in the morning. There's no way. Absolutely no way. But I don't know, maybe I'll finish it in the next couple of days. That'd be a lot of fun. I have at least the next couple of Sanderson books on hold with Libby, like with a couple of my local library branches, but there's some long waits for those. So I'll have to try to get ahead on some of the others. A very sweet friend had gifted me an Audible membership for a few months, so I get those like credits to be able to use. And so I'm just super, super thankful for that. So thank you, friend. Yeah. Oh, that doesn't go there. So it's been fun to be back in this reading, like audiobook phase again, and to have that going while I'm diamond painting in the evenings. I cycle through whether I like listening to YouTube videos or having a like traditional TV show on in the background, and audiobooks. So it had been quite a long time. I'd been in an audiobook rut for a long time and was just happy to get out of it and finally get to some of these novels that I've been hearing about for so long. So any Sanderson fans, feel free to sound off. You always come and chat a little bit in the comments when you hear me mention it, and I love it. No spoilers, of course. No spoilers, please. Let's see. And then what I've been watching, well, I went to see How to Train Your Dragon with Connor, which was fun. Did I mention? We also went to see the live action Lilo and Stitch. I think that was before last week's WIP and Chat. And that one I was like, it's fine. I am over these live action remakes, I have to say. Even though like How to Train Your Dragon was fun, I just am like, I want some originality and creativity again. I don't just want what feels like the constant milking of the cash cow by studio execs. Like, can we have some creativity and originality again? I get that like this is what makes money to an extent, but I would like more. I'm thinking like to like Pixar's heyday when they were doing really interesting and creative things. This is not the color I actually wanted. Hold on, let me swap. Instead of just sequeling and remaking everything to death. But I don't know, maybe that's the grumpy old woman in me coming out. Like back in my day. Otherwise, well, I don't know if I've been watching anything else really interesting. Adam and I haven't had the chance to really sit down and watch more Star Trek Discovery. We've both been kind of like working on stuff in the evenings, but we keep meaning to get back to it. So maybe this week we'll go back to Star Trek. And then listening to, I have been back on my Hamilton BS. I don't know about you, but I was a huge, like all the way down the Hamilton rabbit hole fandom, everything, years ago. And then, listened to it to death, went and saw it. And then kind of, I was like, okay, I'm good. I can move on. It's a couple of years of that. And still like, I love it, but I'm ready to listen to other things. Well, it's back because I don't know if you guys saw, and I don't watch the Tonys, I don't follow the Tonys, but I follow like Hamilton social media, and I'd seen them posting about how the original cast was reuniting for the 10-year anniversary of Hamilton, and that they were doing a performance at the Tonys, and the performance was a mashup, a medley of different Hamilton songs all together. It was like 4 minutes long, and my gosh, it like made me tear up. I was like, oh. It's just, there's a lot of it about it that feels really relevant right now. Like, kind of gives you the chills and makes you feel a little bit nauseous when you like hear them. Like, it felt very deliberate too. I mean, theater's always been political, but staring down the camera like history has its eyes on you. It just felt very, oh boy. But just hearing the original cast all together, like reunited and singing again, and oh my gosh, it was incredible. I absolutely loved it. So if you're a Hamilton fan, do yourself the biggest favor, especially if you need like just a pick-me-up, something to heal your soul a little bit. Go look up the Tony's performance from the Hamilton original cast from last weekend. It's on YouTube. It's all over YouTube, and it's just delightful. Absolutely delightful. So there's that. And so then I went ahead and have been listening to the Hamilton soundtrack again since then. And it's hitting different. It's hitting different. I don't go into politics like on my channel, not because like I'm afraid to talk about them. I have some strong feelings, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like you could probably guess where like my values and things are, but it's mostly because I don't know about you, but sometimes when I come to YouTube and come to these spaces like WIP and Chats, for me, it is a time to unplug from those things. Like, there's a time and a place that I absolutely am going to engage in that discourse and have those conversations and stuff. But just when it comes to like this particular place, I don't tend to talk about it as directly, just because it's for myself and for others too. Yeah, I just don't know that this is the place for it. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that right now, because I can already feel my anxiety spiking. So what else? Listening. Yeah, that's my reading, watching, and listening to for the week. As far as what I have coming up this week, videos wise, like I mentioned at the beginning, I'm hoping to do my Diamond Art Club custom video this week or next, and would love to hear from you if there's any specific questions you have about what that process looks like. I'm going to try to cover it in plenty of detail, but just if there's specific things that you would like to ask about or that you're wondering about that you'd find helpful, like other people might have those same questions, so I want to make sure that I do talk about those things. So let me know about that. I, of course, will have some unboxings from you this week. I have some new releases that came in from Diamond Art Studio UK. And I don't know if I'll have a sneak peek from Diamond Art Club this week or not. Last week's came in on Friday, and I'm guessing just anniversary sale stuff probably has some delays, which is understandable for sure. And then I do have like a post review or two filmed that I might, put up depending on sort of the timing of things. So kind of the usual stuff, maybe a halfway point check-in on where I'm at for my 2025, like the goals that I set for this year at the beginning of the year. So maybe something like that this week. Definitely thinking of doing that before the end of June. So yeah, that said, if you made it all the way to the end, how about, let's see, how about either a book or a music emoji in honor of this cover minder and in honor of the Hamilton reunion at the Tonys and Taylor's music, and also books if you like books instead. So let me know how you're doing and what you were working on while we chatted today. Made some progress on this section. Thank you guys so much for watching. I always, like I said, enjoy spending this time with you and reading all of your comments. Currently, I am in a phase of being more consistent about responding to comments, but you guys know that tends to sort of come and go just depending on how things are going at home and how much margin I feel like I have. But I'm always trying to be better about that and respond, because if you guys take the time to leave a comment, while I do read every single one, I also want to, like, when I'm at least able to give them a heart, show some appreciation to you guys for taking the time to leave a comment and respond as I'm able to. So but yeah, thanks for watching this week's WIP and Chat. There will be a link in the description box to all of the accessories, all the things, as well as to my WIP and Chat playlist. If you would like to watch other WIP and Chats I've done over the years, there's over 4 years worth of WIP and Chats at this point, so plenty to keep you company if you would like. Oh, really quick, my thoughts on the accessories I've been using today. No complaints. I generally do like working with a larger tray just because I feel like I can fit more drills in it to work with when we're multi-placing. I am not personally a fan of the washi tape, this like ledge thing that some companies are doing, including like Munimaid's moved to that. I need to try out one of hers too. I just feel like it's a little bit of wasted space. Like it's not making a difference to me for how I'm like placing, but I know some people really love it. So that's, whatever works for you. The putty is a little bit soft, but I think that probably what I would do next time is, as soon as I load it, go ahead and just like pat it on my, like my shirt or like my pants or something, just to get it like a little bit dirty so it's not like as soft. But overall, I haven't really been having issues with it. And the wax was great. The pen was great. Yeah. So go check out these shops. They'll be linked below if you're interested. Okay. I'm really gonna let you go. Subscribe if you want to see more diamond painting videos from me. I'd love to have you here. Thanks again for watching, and I hope that you are doing well and taking care, my friends. Have a day and a week that is as amazing as you are. I'll chat with you again soon. Bye.